Hey guys, it is veggie unit / stir fry. So we're going to continue on, as always, with our knife skills, but we're also going to talk about some different types of veggies and how we're going to throw a stir fry together. So a couple things really quickly that I have. Usually I have onion, but I don't have any yellow onion today, so we're going to go without it. But I have celery, carrots, mushroom, bell pepper, green beans, garlic, broccoli, and green onions. So that'll be our stir fry, and I got some chicken too that we're gonna throw in ours. You can do this completely vegetarian if you want, but we tend to eat meat here at our house, so we're gonna go that route. So, first things first. With our veggies, I'm gonna actually start with the carrot, and the type of, or the part of the plant that this is going to be the root. So normally this would grow in the ground and there would be, a bushy green part sticking off of that, right? And so this is the actual root part, because remember in veggies there are different parts that we eat, and that could be the seed, the stem, the flower. What else? What other parts? Stalks, and then mushrooms or fungus, and fruit. So bell pepper is actually the fruit of the plant. So this is our scrap bowl, so that's just going to be our junk. I've got our carrot here, and I've got that peeled. And with our carrot, you can cut this into coins if you want, but I'm going to actually cut mine on a little bit more of a bias. And I'm going to cut these into thin planks. These are 1/8 of an inch or so. And the reason why is because when we're doing our stir fry, these will cook a little more evenly when we cut them on a bias, because we have more surface area. Okay, so we got our carrot peeled, and then we're just going at about a 45-degree angle. You gotta be careful with carrots though, because they will try to roll on you. So we'll get our carrot broke down. And then I have bowls over here, and I'm going to try to keep everything a bit separate because these all have different cooking times, right? So we've got that. Next we've got our celery, and I'm just going to bust off these leaves here. We're getting toward the center of the celery stalk, so. All right, and then the bottom part. Then we're going to do the same thing with our celery. We're going to come in at an angle on these. Our celery. We'll do one more. Okay, and then next, we're going to go with Alright, sorry, we had to take a quick break. Scarlett was watching something on YouTube that really captivated her. So, we have mushrooms, and with our mushrooms, you can do quarters or big pieces. I like to just do slices on ours, so we're going to do slices on these, but you could do, if you wanted, big wedges like this. So we're going to have some that don't match in here, but alright, mushroom. These are, I should have showed you, the mushrooms. When you're picking mushrooms, you want to pick ones that are firm, not spongy, and then you also want to look on the underside of these mushrooms where the stem is coming out. Actually, I found the right one. What are the chances of that? So you want to look on the underside of this mushroom. If these are opened up and you can see all the gills in there, I'd pass on it. Just because it's a little bit of an older mushroom. These are creminis, which are basically baby shiitakes. You could use full-size mushrooms if you want. I just like these little ones because they have good flavor, but not overpowering. If you want mushrooms and you want even less flavor, you could go with like the white button mushrooms. Those have basically no flavor. So, but you can still add them in if you want it for the pretty. All right. Next we have bell pepper. Bell pepper, we're going to cut the top and the bottom off. Again, this is the fruit of the plant. And I just fillet these out. You can do this really any way that you want. This is the way that I do it. Some folks will cut these into chunks. You know, though, if this were still a whole bell pepper, they would just cut it into wedges and then break the wedges down. I cut this, take that center seed cluster out, and then I have basically a sheet of bell pepper that I can use to cut into planks or sticks or whatever I want, okay? So I'm gonna go with these sticks. And I am trying to keep my veggies somewhat uniform in size. I know that we're dealing with all different types of vegetables and they all have different shapes of their own, but if we can try to cut those into similar size pieces, and what I'm talking about is like bite-sized pieces, do that, because typically when we're eating stir fry, we're not giving our guest a knife and a fork to go along with it. So if you cut them down so that it's easier for them to eat, that's a good habit. All right. Then we have our green beans, and with these, I'm just going to line them up and trim off the end there, and then I'll spin these guys and trim off the end here. And this particular item, the part of the plant that this would be, is the seed, right? So beans are seeds. So we've got seeds. A couple to go. We got green onions, garlic, and broccoli. So green onion, this is basically the whole plant here. And because I'm going to toss these in place of my yellow onion, I'm going to go just a little bit bigger pieces. Normally I would cut these into small little rings, but because of the circumstance, we're just going to go wedges here. Usually I shop on the weekends, but we didn't really have a chance this weekend. We're kind of busy. All right, and then broccoli. This is actually the flower of the plant. Years ago, in my garden in the backyard, we grew broccoli, and we went to the beach one weekend, and the broccoli was just about ready. And I was so happy when we got home because I was going to harvest the broccoli that we had. And when I came home, the whole backyard was full of these giant yellow flowers. So each one of these little dots on this broccoli is actually a little flower, and they're yellow. So I've got these chunks of broccoli. Again, the idea is just to cut these so they're small enough to fit on a spoon. All right. We're not giving our guest a knife, so we'll do the work for him. All right, so I've got 2 heads of broccoli here. I was gonna cut this one up, but it's been in the fridge just a little bit longer than I would like, and it's got kind of a funky spot. So, there's an old saying, when in doubt, throw it out. We're gonna throw this out just because it's gone a little bit bad there. So, sorry broccoli, we're being wasteful. Next and last but not least, is our, I have some garlic here. And this is a clove of garlic. I always have students in class that I tell them to grab a clove of garlic, and they come back with the whole thing. So each one of these little segments is a clove. The whole thing is the bulb. So let's back up, because I know that I told you this is a clove of garlic. This is actually a bulb of garlic. Each one of these little segments of it are a individual clove. And things to think about or remember when you're buying garlic you don't want garlic to smell like garlic, and you want it to be firm. If it smells like garlic, it's starting to probably get old. So you're looking for nice firm garlic that's odorless. And we're gonna go with, I don't know, we kind of like garlic here, so, well, I like garlic and I'm the one cooking, so we'll go with, I don't know, 4 cloves here. And then we're just going to put our knife on the garlic, give it a little pop, and that paper on the outside should just come right off, right? So, quick little pop, and then so you have our garlic chopped up. The last thing I have to do is get my chicken cut up. I have rice cooking as well. So again, a quick recap of our contents, what they are, what part of the plant they come from, and what they look like processed down. I've got green beans, and this would be the seed of the plant. I have celery, which is the stalks. They also sell celery root that you can cook in more like a potato and mash it. We have bell pepper, which is going to be the fruit of the plant. We have carrots, which is the root. We have garlic, which is the bulb, grows underground. Mushrooms, the fungus among us, these come from spores. And then we have broccoli, which is going to be the flower of the plant. And then we have green onions, which we basically, I don't know if it's the leaf or the stem. We'll have to check and I'll pin it in, but maybe it's the leaf. I've never actually thought of it like that. I've always just thought of it as a green onion, but what do you think, Cameron? Leaf or stem?
Stem.
I think it's leaf. I think it's leaf. All right. All right, all cleaned up and set. Our rice cooker's going. I have our veggies all in separate bowls, and I don't know if you saw that or not, but I put them all in separate bowls. Part of the reason why is because different densities are gonna cook differently. So we don't wanna just heat up our wok and throw everything in and hope that it works out, because you're gonna have things that are raw and things that are super mushy. So we'll put those in based on density. And then I have my chicken over here that I'm gonna cut up as well. So with our chicken, I like to cut this thin for stir fry, and I also like to cut it against the grain. So what that means is there are little muscle fibers that run through this meat. And so on this chicken breast right here, there are lines. When you get a chicken breast out of the fridge or a thigh, you can see the lines, and those are the muscle fibers. So you want to cut across those because the meat will be more tender. If you cut along the grain, basically when you cook this, those fibers will shrink, and if they're really long, when they shrink, they'll become tough. So if you cut them, they don't have a whole lot of room to shrink, and you will have more tender meat. So cut these thin against the grain. I'm gonna do the same thing with like beef or pork or anything. And then when I'm breaking this chicken down, I'm gonna also cut off any extra fat, okay? I also changed my board. I don't know if you guys noticed or not. Normally I cut on a wood cutting board, but I never cut meat on my wood cutting board because wood is a porous surface, and I don't want the juice from this chicken getting down into the wood grain. All right, so we have our chicken all sliced up, and again, thin on this thin to win. So we're gonna get all cleaned up, get our hands washed, and then we'll move over and give you a better view inside the wok. So see the process. See you in a second. All right, we're gonna put this all together. I have, again, all my veggies in different vessels because of different textures and cooking times. And then I have my chicken over here away from my veggies in my wok, ready to go. I'm gonna start this video and then I'm gonna actually turn the sound off because I'm gonna have to turn my fan on. So any super important things, I'll just do bubbles in the video. Enjoy. I do want to say really quickly though, if you have juice in this chicken, try to drain some of that off before you throw it in your oil, because that can really pop and spatter on you, and that doesn't feel good, all right? All right, so we're gonna give our wok a quick rinse. All right, we reset for the veggies. We're gonna get our wok heated up and get this thing thrown together. All right, so I'm going with about a tablespoon of oil. And then I'm gonna start with my, and what I'm looking for is this oil to kind of run around the pan, and it makes these little ripples, okay? So we got our carrots in. We're gonna also throw in our broccoli, because those stems on that broccoli take a little bit of time. And then we'll do celery, green beans, bell pepper, mushrooms, and this somewhere in between. Uh-oh, lost one.
A few. 2 or 3 actually, I think.
Uh-oh, lost another one.
Make that 3.
All right. All right, stir fry's done. Our rice cooker just clicked. If you don't have a rice cooker, that's okay, because I'll attach a stovetop rice instruction sheet for you as well. I have my green onions. I was going to originally throw those into my stir fry, but then I figured I'm just going to save them to throw a little fresh component on top. So here is our stir fry, and here is our plate. Let's see. You switch hands. I'm a lefty, so I do everything backwards, but I want you guys to be able to see this. Let's get our stir fry. I did, again, hit that with a little bit of teriyaki. So you can do any sort of sauce that you want. I did teriyaki because I like it. And I actually had some left over from chicken teriyaki the other night. So we'll just hit that with some of our fresh onions. I got rice going. We'll get this plated up. I got 2 kids that are super hungry, and I actually have worked up a little bit of an appetite. So hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.